let's say it's a husband and wife scenario. The husband owns a property. It's in his name. He's owned it for 10 years. While he's owned it, he got engaged and married to his wife. Wife's not on title. She never bought the house. She was never placed on title. Is that still a marital asset after, if in the event that they have a divorce?
That's a great question. And that's a very common situation where one of the spouses they might have been living in a house for 5 or 10 years. As you said, they might have been living in the house and owned it for 5 years before they even met their spouse. So in situations like that, that house is a premarital asset. It is not a marital asset. However, from the point of the marriage up until the time of the divorce, any appreciation in value of that house is likely to be considered a marital asset. So that appreciation has to be what they would call an active appreciation and not a passive appreciation. A best way of thinking of that is if you have a Vanguard pension account that was worth $100,000 the day before you got married, you're married for 5 years and you did nothing to the account. 5 years later, it's worth $140,000. Well, that appreciation is completely passive. Neither spouse did anything. It was just the market conditions that increased it. So in that case, that appreciation, that passive appreciation wouldn't be considered a marital asset. That wouldn't be dividable. However, in a house, oftentimes it's different, especially if it's the primary residence. If it's your primary residence and the other person is contributing to the either appreciation in value or even the preservation in value, if they're paying some of the mortgage payments, or even if mortgage payments start to be paid out of a bank account rather than the owner completely segregating all the payments and completely paying on his own or her own, in that situation, now that's an active appreciation. Conversely, if it were a rental property that was more similar to Vanguard, let's make it the best possible hypothetical. You have a rental property in Florida and you've never stayed there. Your spouse has never stayed there. You have it managed by a property management company. And during the course of the marriage, that property went from 300 to 340. That would be more similar to the Vanguard index fund situation, because it seems as though really neither spouse did much and no marital assets were used for the appreciation of value. It was simply the market forces over the past 5 years. So that would be something where that passive appreciation, that might be not subject to marital division. And what that means for the bottom line is the spouse that owned that previously may not have to share any part of that valuation, even the appreciation of value, any aspect of that home. So it really comes down to, is it active appreciation? In which case active means, yes, the spouse has a right, that appreciation and value that they somehow contributed to, even if it's in a small way, even contributing to the property taxes, maybe even just contributing to the upkeep and maintenance. Maybe one person is a little bit handy, so they do the painting. Or, maybe there's a small projects that have to be done around the house. Maybe they're capable of fixing the garage or doing some other thing that makes it so that now they've contributed sweat equity to the appreciation and value of that home rather than actual financial contribution.